How do you? Yes, that's true. How do you like? Eh, musik seksi kojo video pemasangan kopi.
Trusting yourself to be able to navigate whatever life is going to throw at you. And that is so necessary for leveling up. If you listen to last week's episode all about change and navigating change, confidence is essentially how well can we navigate change and how well can we pivot when we need to pivot. And do we have that trust within ourselves to be able to pivot? Or as Mel Robbins puts it, and I love her take, confidence is a willingness to try. It is a willingness to take action to get closer to where we want to be. Last week on the podcast, when I was talking about the importance of shaking things up and not letting fear of change hold us back and doing things differently, really we cannot shake things up. We cannot make changes without taking action. A willingness to take action, even if you're afraid to do so, is a sure sign of confidence. So this episode, I'm going to talk about why confidence matters so much, some common misconceptions about confidence, and ways you can build your confidence to help you level up beyond the series. Now, a common misconception about confidence is that it's a feeling. That's what we'll say. I'm not feeling confident enough to do this. I'm not feeling confident enough to do that. But confidence in and of itself is not a feeling. Confidence is action. And that feeling, that self-assured feeling, is a byproduct of taking action. So often we're waiting to feel confident before we do the things that we want to do or that we need to do. We're actually hustling backwards because the feeling does not come before the action. If we're waiting for the feeling, we're never going to take action. So often we will be sitting around waiting to feel confident, waiting for the confident feeling to write us, to inspire us to take action. But it's actually the other way around. We have to take action first, and feeling of confidence is what follows. So I have a few different analogies for how I like to think about confidence. The first is thinking about confidence like a muscle. A few months ago, I actually did an episode all about fitness, the importance of strength training and building muscles, specifically for women. And essentially the point of that episode is that protein to repair it when it's been broken down. Now, confidence is the same way. It is like a muscle that needs to be strengthened and fueled through action. Nobody is confident without action. If you want to increase confidence, you have to put in the repetitions to strengthen it, and you've got to feed it when it breaks down to repair it, just like you would with a muscle. And with muscle, if you aren't actively working to strengthen it, if you aren't fueling it with protein, it ain't gonna be there, okay? And confidence is the same way. You have to use it so that you don't lose it. Now, over the past year or so, the idea of being delusionally optimistic or monkey ball syndrome has gotten really popular. And I actually don't think that those things are delusional at all. I actually think those are a case study in building confidence. Because really what it does is it trains you to want to take action. It really reduces those mental barriers that kind of cause that fear to hold us back. So we aren't too scared to try or to move as if we're already where we want to be, or as if we already have what we want, then yes, that's going to lead to more confidence because we're going to be more likely to try. Now, everybody experiences self-doubt or has engaged in some form of negative self-talk. Confidence is not the absence of those things. Confidence is what we can summon within ourselves to overcome those things. It's feeling those things and doing what it is you need to do anyway. So like I mentioned in last week's episode, things can't get better without change. Overcoming a fear of change is critical to improving your life, but ultimately confidence is what helps us move forward even when facing fear of change. That's because confidence builds resilience. It gives us the fuel to try new things, so we dust ourselves off and try again if what we tried in the past didn't work. Now, confidence can seem like it's either something we have or we don't, and some people are born with it and some people are not. But that's not true. It's just not the case. Often the people who think of as being confident are simply not afraid to try, and they're simply not being afraid to continue trying. So let's use Beyonce as an example, because it's Beyonce, she's a great example for everything. But Beyonce is pretty damn confident, right? I think she appears pretty confident to me. But what I appreciate about her is she's pretty honest about it not being effortless. Beyonce's willingness to put in effort, to rehearse, to try and try and try again, experiment again. The work that goes into how she appears to us on stage is a big part of her brand. She tries and she rehearses and then she tries some more and tries some more and tries until she gets the end result that she wants. Renaissance didn't just come together. It took effort. It took experimentation. It took a lot of trying. And how confident she is on stage didn't just happen. It came from a lot of rehearsing and a lot of trying and putting in the repetitions to build that confidence on the stage. Angel Reese is so confident because she shows up and has put in the practice to have the skills needed to win, which is how she moves, plays, and speaks with such confidence. So these women just aren't magically this way. They are because they put in the work to have the skills to back it up. Because they know that when they take action with their relation, they can really move forward and win and be the best version of themselves. That is what creates that confidence. Now, I share those examples with you because it's important to remember people at the top are still trying, because we love to romanticize other people's lives for them or assume that everything comes easy to everyone else and things are only challenging for us, and that's just not true. Practice, preparation, and competence in what we're doing is often what helps us build that confidence. While we're often told to fake it till we make it, actually without any good advice, it's not because being fake builds confidence, it's because faking it is what gives you that practice. Faking it is what makes you comfortable enough to try. Remember, trying builds confidence. Now I want to talk a bit about what it feels like when our confidence isn't at its strongest. And it's absolutely possible to feel really confident in some areas of life and not confident in other areas of life. In fact, I think we've all experienced that at some point. Maybe you were just like killing it at work and feel super confident there. In your personal relationships, things are a little harder. Or maybe you are dating and you feel super confident and you're like out on your face and you're confident with whatever it is that you're doing. But at work, maybe you are not as confident there. So that's because confidence isn't a catch-all that you just either have or don't have. It can definitely change depending on how safe you feel in certain other things happening in our bodies is that we're each nervous systems. Last year I did an episode all about our nervous system, breaking down our parasympathetic nervous systems, and that episode really shows learn a little bit more about what's happening in our bodies. But basically, your nervous system is what sends signals and messages from your brain to the rest of your body. It's your body's internal communication system. It's what controls our fight, flight, or freeze responses. It's what controls whether or not we are at rest and digest. And if you're not feeling confident, it is probably because there's some dysregulation happening in our nervous system. We actually can't be confident and be dysregulated at the same time. I mean, maybe unless you're like feeling really confident about fighting somebody, confidence and the fight or flight cannot coexist. So if we're feeling triggered, if we're feeling activated, if we're in our fight, flight, or freeze, confidence is often not clicking in the moment because our body is so focused on our anxiety and our nervousness that it can really hold us back from taking that action that we need to take that promotes the confidence we need. That's because our nervous systems respond to patterns. So if we have a history of feeling nervous in certain situations, like we have a history of feeling nervous when we have to speak up in meetings. We have a history of feeling nervous maybe if we're on a date or approaching somebody. That stimuli, when we come in contact with it again, our body will remember that pattern. And so there can be a disconnect between how confident we want to feel and how we actually feel because we're relying back on old patterns that may make us feel nervous or that may activate our fight, flight, or freeze. But it actually has nothing to do with our capabilities and who we are. And what we have to offer is just your body responding to old patterns to try and protect you. But remember, confidence isn't feeling, it's a skill. So in order to build up that skill, we have to get our nervous systems back in check. So in that moment, if we're feeling activated and getting in the way of our confidence, it's all about that nervous system regulation. So some ways to quickly do that include EMT tapping, breath work, stimulating the vagus nerve, potentially your weight on your chest, or your compress on your chest, just to calm your body down to get you to the point where you're ready to take action again. Then once we get ourselves calmed down, we can say, okay, what is the next smallest action I can take? What is the next best step from here? What is a small action that I feel safe taking? Because remember, confidence is the reaction. I'm going to say that time and time again through this episode, and every episode we will stick. But confidence first thing you can do is to regulate the system up, physically calm yourself down, remind yourself that you're safe, and then what is the next best tiny step, tiny action that you feel safe taking, and that is going to move you closer to confidence in that area. So if there's a specific area of your life that you are not as confident in, and you want to increase your confidence in, it's probably because you don't feel safe enough to show up and take action. And on the inverse, if there is an area of your life that you feel super confident in, it probably is because you feel safe enough to show up and show out and take action. So finding a sense of safety or tapping back into yourself to calm your nervous system will go a long way to help you feel more confident. So next, I want to talk about something called confidence competence looping, because this idea is really, really important in helping us understand how to build up confidence. The confidence competence loop explains the relationship between confidence and competence. It's essentially the idea that the more competent we feel in a certain area or with a certain action, that essentially leads to having more confidence. So kind of like what we were talking about earlier, use Beyonce as an example. We can look at a performance like Homecoming and see her confidence on stage. That confidence came from the 8 months of intense rehearsal to really build that competence so that when she got on stage, she knew exactly what it was she needed to do. She knew every mark she needed to hit. She knew every dance, every note, everything. She wasn't up there just winging it, which I think a lot of us really try to do. And we wonder why we don't feel as confident. Fitness is another prime example of this. When you go to the gym and you don't really have a plan for what you want to do, and you're just kind of wandering around, you don't really know how to use the machines, and you feel like everybody's looking at you, they're probably not. It feels like they are. It can be really hard to step into your confidence in that moment. Versus, let's say you're going to the gym, you know exactly what class you're going to take, you have your workout already set, pulled up on your phone, all you need to do is execute. You feel so much more confident because you're taking the action that you know you need to take to get the workout in. So the way to build that competence and thus that confidence is to be prepared, to have a plan for what it is you want to do, and to make sure you understand the plan before proceeding so that you can confidently execute. And this can apply to anything, whether that is a presentation, whether that is that workout that you want to do, whether you are going somewhere to network, feeling really self-assured and prepared and competent, because you are competent, but really reminding yourself of that, feeling really prepared, knowing what you're there to do and who you're there to be can go such a long way in feeling your confidence at a healthy level. So this can also help with procrastination as well. Guilty, because I am a chronic procrastinator, but procrastination is often not a sign of laziness. It's a lack of confidence in the task in front of us. We put things off because we don't feel comfortable taking action. But I found that preparation, breaking things down into really small steps, can help us feel a lot more comfortable to take the action we need to take, and that helps us really increase our confidence in that moment in that area. So essentially, the more skilled we are and the more we believe in our skills and what we're bringing forward, the less fear we have of taking action. The more likely we are to take action, the more confident we feel. And as we build that confidence, it continues feeding our confidence, and those two things work in an infinite loop, supporting one another. Now, when we think of skills, we often think of work, but the truth is everything is a skill. Making friends and feeling comfortable in social settings is a skill, and many of us, myself included, have to put more and more work into building. Flirting is a skill. Having a sense of style, knowing how to dress is a skill. Learning how to manage our time is a skill. Learning how to manage our money is a skill. Learning how to give and receive feedback is a skill. And some of these things we think of as innate traits, and some of you tend to speak to yourself. If the answer is no, let's probably time to practice a little more self-compassion. Next is positive affirmations. Now, I know affirmations can feel a little bit cheesy if they don't resonate with you, but I want you to dig in there and get really juicy with some good affirmations. But the trick with affirmations is to not just say these kind of empty phrases that don't resonate. Just be like, I am beautiful, I am worthy. Yes, you are. However, repeating that over and over is probably not going to change the way you feel. But if we remember that confidence is a result of taking action, how affirmations come to be helpful is we have to affirm the actions we want to take to boost our confidence. You feel me? Affirm the actions you want to take to boost your confidence. So instead of saying, I am beautiful, I am worthy, get specific and affirm your thoughts and actions as you move forward. So you can say things like, I'm focused before you sit down to work, and creativity pours out of me. Or before having a tough conversation with somebody, you can say, I am comfortable speaking my truth. Or before going into a presentation that maybe you feel nervous about, you can say, I am prepared and I know my stuff. Have affirmations that speak truth and speak power into the actions you want to take to boost your confidence. And that's a good quick deposit into your confidence account. So the next confidence deposit is just good old-fashioned taking care of yourself. This would not be an episode of Balanced Black Girl if I didn't mention moving your body in some way. This is not about weight loss. This is not about fitting in a certain size. This is pure movement. So I don't care if you walk, stretch, dance, lift, twerk, hop, skip, sit in child's pose. When in doubt with what action to take to build confidence, move your body. Moving your body is one of the best actions you can take to build confidence, because as you overcome physical challenges, that translates into mental. You're moving that energy out. You're able to walk a little bit and lift a little bit and challenge yourself and find your balance and refine your equilibrium. That is an incredible action that really reminds you what you're capable of and gives you the confidence you need to move forward. Now, also in terms of taking care of yourself, it's hard to take action if you are dehydrated. So are we doing that to the best of our ability? Are we getting sleep so that we have the energy to take action? Are we eating food that will fuel us and energize us to take action? Are we engaging in hobbies and activities that we enjoy and building our competence in fun? Because that matters. The importance of doing things purely for enjoyment is an important action we can take to build confidence. And I'll also add, just as part of that taking care of yourself umbrella, is also taking care of your appearance. And that's not to appear a certain way for other people or to meet other people's standards of beauty, but there is something to how good we feel when we know that we are taking care of ourselves. Looks are not everything. How you look is the least interesting thing about you. But we can't deny how much better we feel if we have maybe a cute outfit on. Something that makes you feel good being you, that you feel comfortable in. The boost that comes from that, you can't beat it, okay? And we all have times where we go through the motions and we're living in leggings. It's slip bun or nothing. But when we also have those moments to put our best version of ourselves forward for ourselves, it can really remind us of who we are. So when you feel like your version of a baddie, that is like an immediate confidence boost, especially when you do it for you. So the next thing we can do to make deposits in our confidence account is to celebrate our wins. When you get a win, enjoy that and celebrate your achievements. Don't brush them off or move on to the next thing or see it as just another box to check. Look at it as proof of how great you are. Look at it as proof of all that you can do when you do take action. That is amazing for your confidence. And let that motivate you during those times when you may need a reminder. I actually love doing this with work. Something that I've done since the beginning of my career is I have a brag file. So I will put anytime I get positive feedback or good review or good feedback on a project or someone being really complimentary about the work I'm doing, or messages from you all about how much you enjoy an episode of the podcast, or a newsletter response of how much you enjoy the message, I save those all to a file. Now, things like that can be super helpful from a career standpoint when it comes time for me to get a new job or apply for a promotion or be considered for an opportunity, because it's a great way of providing receipts. So look at how wonderful I am. But it's also great for you to go and look at when you need that reminder, when you need sometimes that feedback to help you see yourself for who you are, those reminders of the great things that you do and how impactful you are. So keep a brag file as an immediate source of deposit into your confidence account. Now the next thing is facing your fears in ways that feel safe. Now I'm not telling you to do anything outlandish, but you know those things that we think are scary that actually pose no danger to us at all, like responding to that email or doing that 10-minute task that we've been stressing over for months that we know will only take us 10 minutes. When we feel the fear and we do things anyway, that's such an important form of taking action that can really help us boost our confidence. So start taking small steps towards those things, and don't forget to celebrate your bravery with each step. And then the last thing in terms of confidence deposits would be surrounding yourself with supportive people. And like I said, no one's deposits in your confidence account hold as much value as yours, but there's truly something to be said about being gassed by other people. Everybody feels good, you feel supported and gassed up by your people. Having a strong support system that can speak life into you when you need a little bit of a reminder is so nourishing. So don't be afraid to turn to your people if you need support, to ask for what you need, to ask for a little bit of encouragement if that is where you're at, and think of them as supplemental deposits. And if you need a little support or you are looking to connect with more people like that, make sure you join Club Balance, which is our Geneva community. We truly have the kindest members in there who are so encouraging and are always encouraging one another. So if you need a little support, you need someone to gas you up, come join us in Club Balance on Geneva. We have such a kind community waiting for you and waiting to celebrate you and gas you up when you need it. Now, we talked a lot about confidence deposits, right? Because we're thinking of confidence as a bank account. But I also want to talk about what some confidence withdrawals look like. What is draining your confidence account? Very important to be mindful of these things. So we talked a lot about confidence deposits, but I want to talk a little bit about things that can be withdrawing from our confidence account. Okay? What is draining your confidence account? I think for a lot of people, it can be othering ourselves, and othering ourselves to the point where we are rejecting ourselves before other people even get a chance to accept or appreciate us. I've had a lot of conversations with folks, particularly after we published our friendship episode a couple months ago, sharing their experiences with making friends and making friends as an adult, which is a very, very real thing that I think we all experienced at some point. But a common pattern I've noticed is a lot of the reasons why people say they struggle making friends is from a source of othering themselves. So it's a lot of saying things like, well, I'm weird, or I'm different, or growing up, other people didn't like me, or I like different stuff, or the other black girls didn't like me because I like different stuff, and I talk different, and so on and so forth. And I'm not here to invalidate anyone's experience, because that is very real. Childhood wounds are very real, and not feeling socially accepted is really hard, and it's really hurtful. And I think we can take steps to acknowledge and heal from those experiences without making it all about what's wrong with us. Because if all of our thoughts are centered around what's wrong with us, we can't be confident people. Because it often says a lot more about the environment you were in than the traits that you are hyper-focused on. And it could very well be a thing that the people you grew up around were into different stuff or liked different things, and that wasn't aligned. But that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you that is continuing into adulthood. It could just mean that the people that you were around just didn't get you, and it just wasn't the vibe. And that's okay. But we have to learn how to let go and release these stories that something is then wrong with us just because we like different things or we have different interests. Now that you are an adult, those qualities that you think other people didn't like about you could very well be the things that the right people really do like about you if you let them, and if you show up and let people see those sides of you. So instead, you need to focus your energy on what you really like so that you can connect with the right people, because they're out there. Maybe